I want to thank everybody. Before I get into the call, it's not going to be the longest call. There's a lot of, I think a lot of news right now with, market volatility. I mean, yesterday was, I mean, in history, I don't think I've ever seen an index go up 2,800 points, right? So I was shocked. So it dropped, 1,600, then it dropped two, then it dropped 1,600, and to come roaring back yesterday. The current administration is trying to, from what I'm doing now, and I'm doing a workshop up at Rutgers on Saturday for Social Security. And I'm not an economist, but I find it interesting some of the books that I've been reading of late on economics, on tariffs, on taxation. I must say that when I do a little bit of my own research and don't get fed information from the media, right, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, I think it's important that we educate ourselves. And to me, it now I'm starting to get it. I promoted a book a couple weeks ago. Robert Lighthouser, who is the on the last Trump administration, wrote a book called "No Trade is Free." And as I was had windshield time and I'm listening to this, absolutely, I became angered. Literally, I became angry of how we have allowed past politicians, both sides of the aisles, to negotiate deals that have absolutely been at the detriment of the American people. And so, for me to see some semblance of straightening our financial house, because I do post things like, the US debt clock. And I've been talking about this for, over a decade now. And these things are alarming to me. And it's not just for me because I'm 60 now, and I have children. Keith is on the call. He's my oldest and he's 36. I have grandchildren. I have a 15-year-old and I have a 17-year-old. Caitlin on has children. And eventually all of us either have children or we're going to have grandchildren. And it's our future generations that are going to have to clean up the mess that has been created for the last, 30, 40, 50 years. Some of these deals have been made. And so to reset the clock and saying, here is how we are going to conduct business now, I think in my mind, I'm okay where it's saying a little bit of short-term pain, right? Whether that be 6 months, I don't have a crystal ball, could be a year. I've cautioned against, recessions and things of that nature. I do know that the American economy will come back. And next week, when I think next week is a market update, I'll get into a little bit deeper dive. But I just, when I see, sell-offs, right? And then you see the bond market start to come back. And then you see people coming and willing to say, hey, I'm willing to talk now. I think there is a lot of hope. So don't give up on America. We are the greatest country in the world. And I think, making sure we stay that way, because I think in the past where we were industrial leaders, that technology is now shifted over to AI, and we have to win that race. We have to be cognizant of our manufacturing here in this country, not shipping jobs offshore, not giving competitive advantages to other countries. And I heard it was explained so clearly to me that here, if I make something here and I sell it overseas, I might have a tariff of X. But if they come here, we're supposed to just say, oh, yeah, yeah, you can copy it, you can plagiarize it, you can duplicate it, you can bring it here and wipe out. And I've seen a couple of examples where US companies that were founded here were absolutely bankrupted because of the administrations in the past. The politicians are the ones that have thrown us all under the bus. So I hopefully you do your own education. That's not today's purpose, but I am passionate about this. And like I said, I become angry as I'm starting to peel back the layers and see, wow, who actually voted for that? Who actually said it was a good idea to ship jobs overseas? Theoretically, it sounded good, but it really padded and lined the pockets of the politicians, guys that are career politicians saying, hey, you know what? I've been in business 30 years. I don't have a net worth of $6 million, 6 houses, and all the things I could go on about. So, just as you hear things on the news, do your own research, because at the end of the day, my heart will always be here in America, and all of you that are on this call are important to me. And I want to make sure that we're making good decisions. So this call, like I said, won't be a long call because I've talked about this before, but I want you to start. I think timing is everything. I'm going to be talking more about this over the course of the year. One of our calls now will be either monthly or we'll start to do some advertisements. I don't typically push products on these calls, but this strategy does use product, and I think it's the greatest gift that Congress has given the American taxpayer, which is right max funded life insurance. Now, life insurance is not a four-letter word. It's not a bad word, right? But what you have to understand is when we start to think about tools that we use to help us bolster our wealth or accumulate wealth, right? We're very accustomed to already doing that with the home, and I'm going to play that in a minute. But I used to show this slide when I was doing college planning, and I would talk about people's circle of wealth and and losing money unknowingly and unnecessarily. Archimedes, is quoted as saying that with a lever you can move the world. And my background in mechanical engineering, I remember the first time I started to read books on fulcrums, and I was just blown away, like oh my God, the math behind it. But I finally it started to sink in. And a picture tells 1,000 words, right? So as we're thinking about this, we already use leverage every day in our life, right? If you get a flat tire, you, me, anybody on this call cannot pick up that car to change the tire. So what we've created is a jack. You can pump that up, lift the tire up. You can take the bolts off. We use that with the crowbar, right? And then we turn around and replace the tire, and we're on our way. If we wanted to buy a house, and you're going to see that, right? We typically, most of us in today's, we're seeing pricing, real estate prices going up, right? A young couple right now is hard pressed to find a house, 300,000. And I say that very arbitrarily because $300,000 is a lot of money. You'd be hard pressed to find a house of anything meaningful here in New Jersey for that type of price. So if we're looking at 3, 4, 5, 6, $700,000 houses, most people in today's world do not have that amount of cash sitting around. So we entertain something called a mortgage, which is in essence a leverage, right? We're able to use other people's money to help us get into an asset that over time we can pay them back and it will grow. So, Kai-Zen, which I've talked about before, right? So index universal life, it's a very powerful strategy, right? And to me, I love it because things where, people that have these strategies, right, have max funded life insurance, have fixed index annuities, they have a floor, meaning that you cannot lose. You're not in the market, can't go backwards. Kaizen is a word that I've spoken to it before, and I believe it's of Japanese origin, which means continuously improving, right? So that is what they're looking at, is saying, okay, let's take the benefits of max funded life insurance, and what if we could use a tool and leverage, right, other people's money to go ahead and now actually make it similar to a mortgage in real estate. So this video here that I'm going to play is going to talk about that. And I think I think they do a great job, much better than I would if I'm sitting here lecturing you.
Did you know life insurance has the potential to accumulate cash value? This can be used to supplement your retirement, and it can be funded in 5 short years. Sound too good to be true? Well, pay close attention. You can do this because Kaizen uses leverage to help fund your retirement while providing protection for your family. Most of you are already familiar with the advantages of using leverage. When you provided the lender with your down payment and used your home as collateral, so the lender could loan you the additional amount needed to purchase your home. You used leverage. You qualify for Kaizen in a similar way. You provide your down payment that funds a unique cash accumulating life insurance policy, assign it to the lender as collateral, and the lender will provide up to an additional 3 times more money to help fund your policy. Plus, your policy has death benefit protection with living benefit riders that can provide you cash if needed for a chronic or terminal illness. The surplus funds have the potential to earn interest that is credited to your policy based in part on changes in a major market index, like the S&P 500, while never exposing your policy to the risk of market downturns using a feature called the floor. This added layer of protection is part of the reason why with Kaizen, you never apply for credit, sign loan documents, make interest payments, or provide personal guarantees. Yes, you heard that right. And now you know how the rich always seem to get richer. They have access to additional capital that you don't. Until now, by choosing Kaizen. Isn't it time you stopped chasing rates of return? When everyone knows a successful retirement plan is determined by how much you have saved? And I think we all know the choice you will make when it comes to providing protection for you and your family. So why deny yourself the opportunity to live the lifestyle you deserve when Kaizen has the potential to offer you so much more?
So I really like that video. If this sounds interesting to you, whether it be for you, and here's just some guidelines. This works up until 60. I mean, I can go to 62 if you're in really good health, but maybe 60, right? And then basically you're going to put this away, right? You're going to fund it for 5 years. They're going to match it for the from years 1 through 5, you get the match, and then from years 6 through 10, they're going to put in all the premium, and then your policy's full, and you're going to let it bake and not start to draw income. You pay off the loan in year 15, and then you get income from that point forward until age 90, 95, whenever you design it for. So my point is that, I just did 2 clients Monday, right? And they're young, 29, 33, and they're business owners and they had the money. We've been talking about it for a while. And so this is going to be an alternative to their 401k at work. They're not matching or putting their money into their 401k. This is a way to grow and amass wealth in an environment where it can grow and compound tax free and start to take not only market risk off the table, as you saw in the video, but also tax risk. And so it really is a very powerful strategy. The reason I'm emphasizing that is, who do you know? Who do you know that's making a good living, that should be looking at? And if your 401k is turned into a 201k and you're sitting there and you're smacking your head and you're going, oh my God, right? Can I retire? Those are immediate problems. This is a strategy that has to be planned out. We have to qualify. You do have to be in good health, but it is something I have found for me and my clients, that what we're doing here for people makes a lot of sense. But you have to go through these steps. I hope that we can be of service to you. Please don't keep me a secret. We're going to talk more about it, but if you'd like to have a one-on-one, just a demo, right? It's about 10 minute, 15 minute. I'll take you through, let you play with the numbers. I'll send you a link. You can play with it on your own at home. And please reach out and let us know. So again, I want to thank everybody for taking time out of your busy days. See you next week. And if you need me, let me know. Bye-bye.